Will the Photoshop gods smile on us? That's the question. Commando, we're going to open a file, but we're not going to open it in Photoshop. Don't double click it. Don't click open. Come over to where it says format and change the format. There's a whole bunch of selections. We're changing it to Camera Raw. Click OK, and everything will be fine when this opens, except I'm missing some icons here that you have. Really cool things to have before and after. So I don't quite know what's going on. You should be missing this preview button. Now, the steps is click auto just to see what happens. In this case, yuck. We get a little detail here, but it's so washed out. It's not looking good at all. Click back to default. Now we can play with the... Oh, God. If this happens to you, don't get mad. Memorize all the sliders. This is the exposure. We can play with the exposure, and I can say, where do I want this? I do kind of want, in this case, I want to lower the exposure because I want to hide a lot of this. This is where I want my text. But we want to pull out detail here. We got a lot of lights here. So which one of these is white? Maybe this one. Could be. Could be highlights. I don't know. I'm going to work blind and just see what can happen. Just feel my way through this. That could be contrast. I'm not sure. This, I'm pretty sure, is blacks. So we're going to bring those blacks down. And I always like to add, this is clarity. I like to add a little clarity. It makes the detail between lights and darks, it makes them pop. And there's not a lot of color in this. So I think taking vibrance up, and don't mess with saturation. That's a mistake. Normally I would play with the vibrance, but there's no reason to take the vibrance up because we're going to actually darken this further. Now we can switch. Okay, that's interesting. You'll be able to see which sliders I was pulling. Now this is like the curves channel back in Photoshop, but it's got more controls. So the deepest shadows I do want to darken because remember, we're dropping text in here, so we don't really want a lot of detail. But the lights up here, we want contrast between the lights and darks. So I'm going to pop those lights up a little bit and the highlights. We can sharpen here, but I'm not quite sure how much sharpening will help with this image. Remember, it came out pretty clear. Maybe take the amount up a little bit. It would help. Option Command 0. Command 1 does not work in Camera Raw. You have to click Option Command 0 to get full screen. So you can see we're starting to get some pretty hard edges here. Probably not taking that up. Maybe a little luminance noise reduction would help. And then the last thing, I'm going to hit Command 0 to make this fit back in the window. To play around with, this in a typical image gives us lots of control. Don't mess around in hue and saturation. Switch over to luminance. And then we can play with individual colors and make them lighter or darker. In this case, we just have these greens here. And I'm going to make the greens darker yet because we do want to take out, there's a little bit of yellow in those greens. We do own, and there's some red in this area, so we can darken those up, reds and oranges. And the reason we're doing this is you don't do this on a typical picture. Remember, everything is seasoned to taste. We're trying to arrange for this area to be our text, the information, the date, time, location of our event. Now I'm going to open the image. And there it is. Now if I hit F twice, so I get back so I can see my tabs. This is our 0 file. I'm going to click and drag this over onto this tab, move it over here. I haven't let go yet. I'm hold down Shift and let go. Now, hit F to get back to full screen. Tell me that that is not an improvement over that picture. Working blind in Camera Raw. Oh my goodness. I'm a little punchy. I've done that so many times and it glitched every single time. But oh my, isn't that a vast improvement? And depending on your pictures, you can get so much pop out of Camera Raw. You can also destroy your images utterly and completely. So you have to use your sense of artistry and a little restraint when you're doing that. Okay, if I have time to make another video, we'll come back and we'll start cleaning this up in preparation for placing the text. But at this point, you should have enough information to work on your own with your own images and improve them yourself.